Misunderstandings that cause us pain. Misunderstandings that cause us pain. Clarified by truth to bring love again. Clarified by truth to bring love again.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen. Amma ba'du fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah.
Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah.
Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah.
Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah.
The Prophet of Allah, Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam has stated, perform Hajj. Undoubtedly its reward is greater than participating in 20 ghazawat. And reciting salat upon me one time is equal to that. SubhanAllah. A ghazwa is the plural form is that battle which was led by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Reciting salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu is a great blessing. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, welcome back to our series Misunderstandings. In our previous episode we were discussing the parents commanding their children towards something bad, and how should the child react to this, what should they do. We had the story of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and inshallah we will move on from this topic and we will move on to a new topic which requires attention as well, and I would like our guest Abdul Hanan Bhai to shed some light upon this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
Abdul Hanan Bhai, time management. We see that this is a source of great complaint from a household, whether it's from the father, whether it's from the mother, whether it's from the children. Oh, my dad doesn't give me enough time, or my husband doesn't give me enough time, or the husband, he's complaining that my kids don't give me enough time, and the parents are complaining about this. This sort of stuff is occurring in the house. What is the usual cause of this? Are we really busy, or are we just very poor at time management?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I think if you really look into this, you'll find that everyone has time. The most busiest people, they will have time. If they want to take out that time, they will be able to take out time. And sometimes, a person keeps on saying this to himself, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. And it makes him feel that he's busy. And the more he will say that I'm busy, he will sort of sink into him, I'm busy. Or sometimes others make him feel a bit busy as well. Like if the wife is keep on saying to her husband, oh, you're always busy. And the husband is always saying to his wife, you're always busy. And when people are saying this to each other, it makes that person feel, yes, I'm busy, I'm busy.
It's a psychological effect, isn't it? If someone, if you say to someone, oh, he's a very angry person.
Yeah.
He's a very jalali person. And even though the person might not be that, furious type of person, but that will build in his mind that, oh, I am an angry person.
In the same way, if you want to put goodness in someone, if you keep on telling them of that goodness, it will automatically go into the person's mind. And if you want to put evil into the person's mind, this is what happens. This is what exactly how Shaitan is whispering into our minds, that he continuously, sort of makes us think towards that. And the person starts to think like, so when a person thinks that I'm busy, and then there's others reminding him I'm busy, it's like when a person he's ill, but he's doing everything. But someone else comes and he says to him, oh, look, you're looking bad. He will automatically make him feel that, oh, am I that bad?
Yeah.
Right? And the more people will come and say that you're looking bad, right? It'll put him more down.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a very interesting story regarding this of 3 thieves who wanted to rob someone's cow. And this is probably in a village somewhere back home or in another part of the world where someone is walking with his cow. You get in places that people would take their cows for a walk and etc. So he's walking with his cow, and these three thieves come and they make a plan. We want to rob this person's cow now. And so they plan and they go to this person walking with the cow. So the first person who goes, he looks at the cow and he starts to jump up and down. He says, lion, lion, lion. And he runs off. Now the person who's walking with the cow, he's thinking, there's some mental problem with him. I'm walking with the cow, he's thinking lion. So he doesn't take no notice of it. But a little while later, the second thief comes. Now he looks at the cow and he starts to jump up and down, like acting, it's something, you're walking with a lion. So he says, lion, and he runs off the opposite direction. So now the person walking with the cow, he looks at the cow, and for a moment he thinks that this is a lion. He's actually walking with a lion. He goes into a state of doubt. So first he doesn't doubt it because first time someone said it. Second time he's falling into the state of doubt. Now he's carrying on walking, and then the third thief comes. Now he reacts in the same way, lion, and he runs off the opposite way. And when this person, he looks at his cow, and for him it feels like it is a lion. Right? He leaves his cow and he runs off. Now all the thieves get together and they take the cow away. Right? This is a way of explaining. When someone continuously says, I'm busy, or other people are saying to him, in the same way someone saying, I'm ill. In the same way, if you were to do good with goodness in this way, this will also go into the child's mind as well. You'll say, if you are always saying to the child, I have plenty of time for you, it might make that child feel that comfort feeling that, look, we have plenty of time. And when saying to each other, this makes a huge difference. So before we become busy, before you think you're busy, right, try to think that alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me time. When I have time to eat, when I have time to sleep, when I have time to socialize, when I have time to spend my time on social media and other things, I have time to do the shopping, right? So it's not that you are busy. So stop thinking you're busy in the first place and start to feel that you're not busy and you have time. Inshallah, you'll see a change.
Inshallah.
Right? And secondly, once you've built your mind on this, now is the actual thing, is actually giving that time, is making that time and managing that time. Generally, a person works 8 hours, sleeps for 8 hours, right? 8, 16, right? What's left behind? Another 8, right? If you look at, now let's focus upon them hours, just as a general thought. Them 8 hours which you have, okay, just say 1 or 2 hours are spent for traveling, 2 hours are minus, 6 hours are left. Then in 6 hours you say you spend 2 hours eating. Right, the way we are spending our time eating, they say 2 hours, even though that within them 2 hours of eating you could have that time sitting with your family and speaking and spending that time with your family. But just say, and still you have 4 hours left. Okay, just take another 2 hours for social life. Right? Still you have 2 hours left. Right? So, I'm just building you that you're thinking you don't have time. But even if you calculate your timings, you will always find there is something else left. Now, if someone spends them really 2 hours, and especially in the time which we are living, if you spend them 2 hours in the right way with your family, you'll see a huge difference. I mean, in the right way. Nirana Shura says that we don't even know how to spend our time with the family. Right? We say we are spending time with our family. Everyone sitting on one table, everyone sitting around the table. You're in the one room. You're not connected to each other, yet you're connected to the entire world. Right? Through social media, everyone's on their phones. Everyone's saying their husbands there, wives there, child's there. Everyone is elsewhere. Give them that quality time. Give them that time where you're spending to speak to them, to have that loving moments with them, right? A time where you are actually asking them how their day was, speaking to them, right? And actually sharing some of the things.
Quality time.
Sharing some of the things, it could be general things. For an example, something which happened at work, right? Something which happened at school. Oh, you know what? This happened. Don't stretch it too long to make that story, but make it interesting, right? Sometimes a little thing can happen at work, but it can be very interesting. Right? Something can happen on the way home. Right? You might observe it. Just to making that, sadly we don't have that communication. We don't even know what to say to each other. Husband and wife are sitting there, and wife's got her, she's looking this way, and the husband looking that way. And then the wife probably, or the husband will say, oh, got nothing to say to me. You don't speak to me. Just argument kicks off. Right? You're just sitting there because you don't know what to say to the person. It causes an argument. And sometimes there are things to say. Right? We hear so many things around us. It doesn't mean that you share all the bad news. This is another problem as well. Sometimes sharing bad news, it might put someone down. Try to share good news.
For example, if family finally find time to sit with each other, and then someone starts this starts with the bad news, and what sort of environment and what sort of mood it will create for the rest of the people.
It's especially with the mother and father of the children. What normally happens is the mother is complaining about the child, the father is complaining about the child. And one or the other doesn't want to listen about the complaints of the own child. He's just come home from work, or she's just come home from work. They don't want to hear about the complaints of the children, right? They want to hear something good. When do you ever say something positive about your children? If your daughter's cleaned her room, it could be that you can start from this.
Or pick up, even sometimes, okay, fine, they may be doing a lot of stuff that is not praiseworthy, but they might be doing something, because everyone has something which is praiseworthy in them. So, subhanAllah. But again, this time, how should we spend this time? As you mentioned, that we see that sometimes we'll find a parent, they won't have their phone, but their children are on their phone, they're chatting to someone, chatting to their friends, or someone's called them, so they go out of the room, and they come back, and then another person called them, and then they go out.
There's different ways of spending that time. If you're a child, you have to understand what your child's interest is. Right? Sometimes it could be that if your child is interested in drawing things, sketching something, or whatever your child is interested, sit with them and join in with that interest. I remember back in the days we had these very simple games which the family would sit around and play, and everyone would. It was enjoyable for the whole family to play around with, right? Nowadays you don't have anything like this. Even intellectual games, where there are games which you can learn from each other, or it's like a good comfort. You don't get that no more. People, even the games have turned violent. What the games appear, the children are playing is full of violence, full of killing, full of blood, full of all this. And if they're going to see all this, what are they going to have in their lives, right? So the peaceful environment maybe are not there in the same way. Where you could sit down and maybe sketch something, maybe draw something with them, or see what they're interested. For example, your children like football. Just go out and kick the ball. Right? They'll laugh at you. You probably don't know how to kick the ball, right? But it's good. They will enjoy that my father has joined in with me.
Of course, with good intentions.
Yeah. So they will probably enjoy that. You've done something. Or even go for a jog with your children, right? Oh, you could do little gardening, right? And I know you're probably thinking, oh, what a boring stuff he's talking about. But sometimes you can make that interesting. Right? It's how you do things. And sometimes you can make the least of things interesting. I was in in Africa, and the children there, they had a wooden piece, and on that they made some lines with chalk. The children probably don't know what chalk is. In the old days, you had the blackboards. In some places you still have them, and the white chalk to write on it. Now it's whiteboards, and you have the markers. So they made lines on it, and they made some sort of a game. And this was under a tree, which they were sitting. And the sitting place of this was pieces of wood, which they were using as their seats. And there was a cut tree where they had their place. So it was the surrounding and the atmosphere. It made me think, look how people are still living their lives, and how simple. Where we have, I think we will bring this up in the next episode regarding the usage of these devices which we are locked into, and how one can take themselves out of this. Because this is important. Because if you don't know how to deal with this, and you don't know how to tackle this, and this is being a big distraction. So literally, it's a matter of by putting your mobile phone away for an hour or so, or half an hour, and everyone says that no one's going to use it, right? But it has to start from the elders.
It's like losing a liver.
You have to all put it aside. decide. And you have to start from the elders. You know, the problem is the elders will say to their children, no mobile phone. You can't have your mobile phone now. We're going to sit down and talk, right? And you got your phone in your hand. Right? You, as soon as the text comes, you're looking at it. Should not be the case. You know, create that atmosphere at home, right? And you have to create this to make something happen. If you're going to still moan and complain by not making an effort, then you can only blame yourself. We have to make an effort to build this change. And alhamdulillah, through this change, you will able to see that you'll able to socialize better.
How should family members, manage their time? For example, someone's very busy. Someone, for example, people have their exams coming up, or the parents, they have some other activities that they're doing or commitments. How should they manage their time such that the whole family is in sync with one another? So they've specified a time. This time we're going to spend together.
I think every household can manage. For example, normally on a Saturday, I would say that this is my sort of family day, in the sense that anything which needs doing, shopping, other things at home, I would sort of mostly give my time on, and everyone knows in the house that this is a day where we need together. And this is a day when we will do things together. So, you can also have this mindset. And some families, like for example, my brothers and sisters, they will probably meet up on Friday. It's a time which the whole family sort of meets up in my parents' house. So everyone meets up sort of on that day. So that's already there. It's something which is set, fixed, fixed, and then everyone knows that this is something which you're going to try to do. This is one way of doing it, right? So you can have this. Then time to time, arrange functions, not the functions which people might be thinking, arrange functions on remembrance of your loved ones who have left the world. For example, the day your grandmother passed away, grandfather passed away, getting the families closer on this. You can do also on remembrance of the awliya, subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Recite Quran.
Recite Quran. 11th Sharif of Ghazur Ghosi Adam Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, 11th of every month. So whichever weekend that falls, you can keep that. And it's a way of connecting the family. One you have it in one household, have it in the other household. And alhamdulillah, Nigrani Shura, he mentions a very beautiful thing. He says normally the mother or someone in the household makes something on a certain date or on a certain day, and they make it special. The biryani is made, all this food is made. And even that food is made, why don't we use that day as an asari swab for our loved one? Why don't we use that day? Okay, today we know you're going to make food, or even that you're ordering from outside on a certain day, which is fixed. Okay, today inshallah we're going to do Fatiha, right, for our grandparents. And alhamdulillah, this is a way of getting. And also you can say, like, today alhamdulillah we're going to do 11th Sharif of Huzur Ghosi Adam Sheikh Abdul Qadir, or we're going to do 12th Sharif inshallah in remembrance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, day of birth, right? So you can have that. We're going to have a little maulid in the house. So these things, create these. If you want that family time, if you want that sort of time together, there are many ways of making things happen. You just have to do it.
Do you also think that planning ahead plays a role in this? That, for example, sometimes a child has made his own home plans and he's not let his parents know, and the parents, they're expecting the child to go with them on a particular time, and they've made their own plans, but they haven't communicated that to the children. And then when that time comes, the parents are like, okay, let's go. And he's like, oh,
I'm in the middle of something, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Right? So what about this? Planning ahead and letting them know well in advance. And how should one let their parents know? Should they let them know, or should they ask for permission?
I think this is where a lot of misunderstandings are made. Everyone's making their own decisions. There's no harm in making your own decision, but it's making others aware that I'm doing this on a certain day. So husband and wife sometimes don't do this, This is where a lot of arguments happen. The wives decided to go shopping on a Saturday, just say for an example, and the husband's got something else planned on that day. And when the time comes, let's go shopping. but I've got this planned. So you are going to have a crash. Right? You are going to fall out. You are going to get into an argument. Oh, you're never there, But plan it in the right way. In the same way with your children. And the children should have this plan. For example, alhamdulillah, at times my son, he tells me, look, Saturday I'm going here. So he tells me in advance. So it's not that, alhamdulillah, it's good that I know that he's got something to do on this day. And children should do that.
And how should they communicate that to their parents? And how should the parents communicate to their children? Well before, how long before, what's the sort of strategy to use?
It depends on the family. Some families make long plans and some families make very short plans. And if you know that you work with a short plan, it's good. But they should, some things are not, you can't notify things people a month in advance a lot of times. It will be on the actual week or could be 1 or 2 days before. So the earlier you can, the better. The earlier you can, the better. But I think both sides need to understand this as well, whether it's parents or whether it's children. That, if my son has told me first, then the parents should think, okay, he's come with it first. I should have told him what we had planned. And then change it simple. You have to take it in this way. In the same way, the children should take it that, look, even though I planned first, but our parents are saying it. Let's accept what our parents are saying. Right? So this way, inshallah, you'll create that beautiful environment at home, inshallah. You'll create that understanding with your family as well.
Sometimes we see that someone's made a plan and he lets the other person know well in advance. well in advance. And when they've told them, they think, okay, I've done my job.
Yes.
And now for another 6 months, they don't remind them, they don't tell them, and the person's forgotten about it. And then when the time comes, they say, okay, I'm going here and I'm going there. I say, when did you tell me about it? Oh, I told you, don't you remember? I've told you. And they say, oh, you told me a long time ago, I've completely forgotten about it. Now, do you think communication, again, plays a huge part in this misunderstanding?
Definitely. You need to keep people updated. There should be a reminder message. There should be a change, especially when our lives have become so different to the way we used to live. So you need to send extra reminders. You need to remind each other. Doesn't matter if you're the elder or you're the youth. If you need to remind your parents, you should remind your parents. If you need to remind your children, you need to remind your children. Actually, in the cases of children, you probably need to remind them 2-3 times more because they have so many things in their minds and they'll probably forget. Right, so it's good that you reminding each other. Inshallah, this way you'll save yourself from misunderstanding.
Inshallah. So, my dear viewers, on the channel, we learnt how we should manage our time and what sort of strategies we can use. Also, I wanted to ask you this question: how should we make a timetable, and how should one go about planning a timetable? Should one make a timetable, or should one be very flexible? I can do everything and anything.
Sure, definitely. We were thinking about the wali of our time, Shaykh Tariqat Tamil Sunnah, Hazrat Abu Bilal Muhammad Ilyas Qadri Sahib Damat Barakatuh. They have, you can almost say, they have a timetable in drinking water, right? When they will drink, right? And how often they will drink. What quantity of water will they drink? Subhanallah, the pious people are so perfect in their times that, and how they spend their time and what they do with the ibadats. And even if I think we mentioned about the schedule of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was planning in the house, right? He would have time. He would divide his time even in the house and into different. One was for his ibadat, one was for his family, and one was for himself. Right? Look how these 3 divisions of time is beautifully divided. The time is given to the family, time for the worship, time for his own self. These things are important. Right? Just what time do we give for ibadat? Do we have any time set for ibadats, for reciting the Quran or doing the zikr or reading an Islamic book? We should have time set for this. In the same way, we should have time set for our families. This is the time for family. Or this is, then we have your own time. This is my own time. Right? At the moment, it's everything is my time. There's no time for ibadah. There's no time for the family. Everyone feels, no, it's my time. It's my life. And this attitude of my time, my life, you need to get out. You need to, because it's not just your life. Your life is with your surroundings. You can't leave those who cared for you, those who brought you up, those who spent their livelihood upon you. You can't just forget about them. They are part of your life. And I'm talking about parents here. I'm talking about your mother. I'm talking about your father. How can you say it's your life when your parents are alive, right? And even after they pass away, right? Still, you need to make time to go to the grave. You need to make time for the supplication for them. You need to make times of making a means of a reward, a salih sawab, a gatherings of zikr for this reward. All this, right? So one needs to understand, and sadly, this attitude is my life. When you get into this attitude, it's my life, I'm going to do the things where I want to. No, it's not. It doesn't work like this. Right? Tomorrow you will find out how bad this is. It's my life. When your children will come and say to you, Dad, it's my life, I'll do what I want. Right? So always look at this point. Today we are saying to our parents, it's my life. Tomorrow our parents are going to be saying to our children, are going to be saying to us, it's my life. And then you will feel, because only then you will realize what a mother goes through and what a father goes through. So it's not, okay, it is your life. But in your life, our deen, Islam, teaches us how to spend that life. You spend it in ibadat, you spend it in serving your parents, you spend it in the seeking knowledge of the deen, you spend it in the times which you give for yourself as well. Alhamdulillah, this is why the Prophet ﷺ would have time for himself. And even in that time, you were divided. That time was divided for those Sahaba who would come to ask the Prophet ﷺ questions. Right? So Prophet ﷺ gave his time to those people who had anything in their minds to clear. Right? So, do we have that sort of time? And you look at the life of the Prophet, such perfection, such organized, even the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, their households were divided. Right? How the Prophet ﷺ equally gave time to every one of his wives.
MashaAllah, we had many beautiful pearls for time management and prioritizing, looking after our family, spending time with the family. And when you give that time to your family, should you also give time for doing some work of the house as well? You mentioned in early episodes doing the work of the house, but because we don't give any time, or we're not prepared to give that time, then we can't go about doing it. So what about this as well?
It's definitely, there's always things to do. If your parents are on their own, there's always things to do in their house, right? And simple things like just vacuuming, mopping, cleaning, these things are there. Then sometimes it's a matter of asking, Mom, Dad, is there anything which needs doing? Maybe the curtain rail is hanging off, right? Maybe something's broken, something needs to be put back together. Or something in the garden, something in the right. And even if there's nothing, just go around and just observe what needs doing, right? And if you come to me and you say there's nothing which needs doing, I'll give you the most secrets of places where you can find work to do. Just pull out the fridge. Behind it, you'll find dust.
Do you recommend, children who are watching Madani Channel to pull out a fridge?
You're not talking about little children. Obviously, those who...
I don't know who's watching.
So something like that. Behind it, you'll find many things to clean, and you'll probably find a lot of the missing things in the house are fallen behind it as well. I just giving you an example to bring a sign of bring a bit of happiness. That there are things to do, right? To do. And sometimes we think nothing to do, right? You just go around and just have a look. Inshallah, you'll find something to do.
Inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us more observant of our surroundings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be observant that He is watching us as well. Ameen. Mujahid Nabi al-Ameen. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, join us in our next episode of Misunderstandings. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu
Misunderstandings that cause us pain. Misunderstandings that cause us pain. Clarified by truth to bring love again. Clarified by truth to bring love again.